Okay. Okay, folks, I hope I'm live. I can't tell. Let me get rid of that. Had a little technical problem, and which was fixed. I'm trying to be so technical now, and of course, you think you've mastered all the technicalities of it. Anyway, here we are. And welcome to my Thursday newsletter. As I say, I hope I'm live because I can't tell. There's no way. I just press a button and it looks as though I'm live. Following on from a couple of weeks ago, I covered lung disease, and I want to, as I said, I wanted to start to cover real stuff as opposed to just keep going on about the politics of COVID, because we're not getting anywhere, and I'm getting banned by YouTube. They're blocking people sharing, so it's a great liability, so I'm going to stick with this. I've started a new Telegram site, which I'll be posting this next day or so. We're just getting it going now, where we can discuss the politics of COVID. But anyway, today I'm covering the biggest killer in the world, and that's not COVID, I can promise you. I know you're being terrorized by the propaganda spouted by governments and the pharma medical cartel and the bought media, but it's not COVID that is a major risk in the world. The major risk in the world is cardiovascular disease, as you see on my little list I've got here. Cardiovascular disease has killed 13 million people up to now this year, and respiratory disease have killed 5.1 million. And well, you can see the rest. I'm not going to go through them all, but COVID-19 has killed worldwide anywhere between 200 and 850, depending on who you believe. And the reason for that is because doctors were asked to put COVID-19 even if they suspected it. So you could have died from a road death, and if the doctors suspected, of course, because doctors were being paid to say put COVID-19 down. So you can see it really is a confusing issue, but what's not confusing is cardiovascular disease is killing 13.5 million people, and that's up to date, and it will be more by the end of the year. So that's why I'm covering cardiovascular disease. My keys are not working, are they? Suddenly they stop working. Oh, okay. So I can't go through all the rest of my slides. Oh, is that do help me? Well, it's not that one, and it's not that one, and it's definitely not that one. That's made me go sideways now. That's the problem of touching things when you're working. How do I get back to there? Oh, that's it. That's helpful. And now I'm trying to work out how to, because it was an automatic move on, but that's stopped now, so. No, I'm going to have to go with it, folks, and just have to rabbit. I'll just have to rabbit, and you won't be able to see the wonderful slides I've got, unfortunately. There must be a way to do it manually, but there you go. Wishing there was is not going to make it. Does that do it? Does that do it? No. Okay, right, I really give up now. Anyway, heart disease kills millions, as I said, 13.5 million, heart disease, stroke, and other cardiovascular diseases. But, and I've met many people who think that they live a healthy lifestyle, but they really don't. And people that live a healthy lifestyle, in all these years, I've never met a person that truly follows a healthy lifestyle that is not suffering from some sort of disease, including cardiovascular disease. And I've got a separate book for heart cardiovascular diseases, and which also cover prevention of strokes. But I also have a book on stroke disease. If you have had a stroke, then it's a recovery book for that. Anyway, I'm convinced that unexpected heart attacks are a result of a very unhealthy diet and a failure of doctors who are listening to their drug masters. Because if you were looked after properly by your doctor, if your doctor was checking you out properly, then you would not have a heart attack. You couldn't have a heart attack because they would get rid of it if they were practicing healthcare, but they're not. They're practicing disease care, drug care, and drugs don't get rid of heart disease. And they may put it off for a while, but I don't even believe that. I believe that whether you went to the doctor or not, obviously, if they do an operation and put a stent into your arteries, they can open it up. But that's still only a temporary fix. You can actually look after your own arteries and heart by having a 4-dimensional scan of your arteries and heart on a regular basis. Now, in the UK, we have scanning centres. In my newsletter, which you can see this, I put a link to an example of one in the UK called ultrasounddirect.com. And you can see just what you can do. You can go there. I go there myself and make sure that all my arteries are clear, my heart's clear, everything's working fine around my body. Ladies can go, they can have pelvic scans with it, with the 4D. And the funny thing is that this particular chain of centres started as a baby scanner showing pregnant women their baby and their partners. And it's really thrilling to be able to see the baby in full colour 4D. And that's great. Okay. But it's wonderful for making sure that you have no problems, having your prostate checked, everything around the body. And it's really inexpensive because they work on mass scanning. You take your scan away, you can go see a cardiologist or whatever you want to do after that. But it really is good. And there's another test which I also have. Well, I actually do it to myself. It's called heart rate variability, HRV. And what this is doing is checking the strength of the heart. And the strength of the heart is directly proportional to your health. So if you have a really weak heart, it gives you a bad number. And if the bad number's bad, you need to do something about it. The beauty of that is that when you do something about it, if you start doing all the things I say for argument's sake in my book, you can then have another test to see the measurements going back up again. So you can prove this was researched by doctors possibly 40 years ago. And of course, they found that it really worked. It showed when people were almost at death's door from their heart. And it frightened them because they knew they didn't have any treatments for it, because drugs don't treat anything. They just, as I say, they may prolong it slightly, but not when you're at death's door. Whereas we, as I say, we in the natural health business know that you can pull it back. You can literally pull everything back. And heart rate variability proves it. It lifts the numbers back up again quickly. The ultrasound scan is very visual. You know what I mean? If you've got a blockage, you can see it to the millimeter. And if you then go on the plan and literally work to recover it, and then go back 3 months later, if it's not completely clear, you will see that it has cleared, and you can go, wow, this is a winner. The plan I'm on works, and I'm going to keep doing it. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe, well, you shouldn't believe doctors, because they're just using drugs. And the drugs won't show this change that I'm talking about. It won't show blocked arteries clearing. And the heart rate variability won't show drugs, because when you have a heart rate variability test and it shows that you're in a bad way, when you got a drug, it doesn't lift the numbers, whereas the natural health plan does show the numbers. So that's the big deal that I'm talking about today, really. I've got some lovely slides, which you can't see, but you'll see most of this in the newsletter anyway. So it's not quite a loss if you read my newsletter. And I'll get this working, and I will actually shoot this, and I really will put it back on the internet, on our website, on Natural Healthy News and naturalhealthynews.com and naturalhealth.info. Why do I have two? Well, again, Facebook and Google are conniving to not allow people to see things, me to share to naturalhealthynews.com. So I've got naturalhealthynews.info as well. And hopefully they're not watching this, so they don't know I've got that. So, but that's a secret between you and me. Anyway, heart health and unhealthy lifestyle. I hate to say this, but if you've got heart problems, if you've got blocked arteries, if you've got a weak heart, it's because of your lifestyle. And so many people say, Robert, I live a healthy lifestyle. I say, you don't. You think you do because you're basing it on what you've been told previously. But when you go on a really healthy lifestyle, then it will start to reverse. Your life will start to change. Everything starts to change back, because you cannot be sick if you're living a really healthy lifestyle. All right, there may be a time when you've been poisoned by some toxicity or something like that. It's rare. It does happen. I read of a case, I should say, once, where a guy who was living a fairly healthy lifestyle kept, having heart problems, and it was just certain times of the year, and the doctor was, quite puzzled by this because it sort of cleared up in the winter, but then in the summer it was back there, and it was found that he was the chemicals he was using on his garden to keep weeds down, and weed killers and all the rest of it. That's what was causing this attack on his heart. And of course, he stopped the weed killers, and because this was a natural health doctor, by the way, not a drug doctor, and literally they cleared it up. So it can be chemicals sometimes. It could be cleaning chemicals. If you in a place where they use these toxic cleaning chemicals, it's rare, but it does happen. So as I say in my writings, just keep away from chemicals. Keep away from chemicals in your food. One of the reasons that, it's just only one of the 20 reasons I say don't eat carbs, is because just as grains and cereals are ready to harvest, they put Roundup herbicide on them to speed up the final thing. Roundup herbicide, you mean that stuff that gives gardeners cancer or whatever? Yeah. Surely they don't still do it, Robert. They do. You think they care about you, the people that do all these things. They don't care about you. Anyway, but generally, back to the plot. If you live a really healthy lifestyle, then you almost certainly cannot be sick. It's so impossible. I can't say it strongly enough. And these are the things that we need to do. We need to stop consuming factory processed foods, grains, cereals, processed foods like takeaways. When you go to a takeaway place, it will be crap. I mean, all right. If you said, well, Robert, I live near a raw food restaurant and they serve raw organic food, okay, you'll beat me on that. But I'm talking about, the chains, the ordinary takeaway stuff. Don't be tempted to eat that. If when I'm traveling in the USA, say, I know the food is just really toxic. So what I do is I buy a bag full of avocados, a bag full of organic apples, and that might be my breakfast, chopping up some apple and avocado and have that for breakfast. I need to stay strong. I know I go weak if I start eating it, and then I'll find an organic restaurant in the evening for dinner and have dinner in an organic restaurant. If I can find a raw food restaurant as well, that's a treat. But I can find a lot of those in California, maybe on the East Coast, but not, in the hinterland, So anyway, so you've got to keep away from high sugar foods, overcooked foods, and all foods are lacking in critical vitamins and minerals. They are. Don't care what anybody say. If anybody say, well, I eat organic and that's got all the vitamins and minerals. No, it's not. All the vitamins and minerals were there over 100 years ago, but with intensive farming of land now, it's gone. Because when you grow a crop, that plant has vitamins and minerals, which it takes from the soil. Then you take the crop away. And if you keep doing that day after day, week after week, year after year, one day they will not be in the soil. Like iodine's no longer in the soil. You can only get that from seafood and seaweed. That's a fact of life. And so all the food, even the organic. And another cause of disease is obesity. But the problem obesity is caused by eating the above foods, the factory foods, the processed foods, the carbs, the sugar, the grains, the cereals. So, if you are overweight, then you need to go on a keto diet. A keto diet is where you don't have no sugar, carbs, no high sugar foods or carbs. And if you can, go on a fresh food, and you'll see that in the book, the Heart book, you'll see my pyramid where it's mostly greens at the bottom. And okay, if you've got diabetes, again, diabetes is directly caused, that's diabetes 2, by the way, not 1. It's directly caused by eating those foods in the unhealthy diet. So you've got to defeat diabetes, and you can defeat diabetes in 1 week. And you can bring it back again a week later if you change your diet back again. So, eat the diet and the diabetes is gone. What can I say about smoking? Well, what I can say is that if you smoke organic tobacco with no filter on it, it's not as bad. Sorry, I'll say it even differently. It's massively not as bad as smoking cigarettes manufactured by any of the big cigarette makers. That's not to say I'm advocating it. I'm just trying to be truthful and honest. Because in Greek, people smoke 3 times more cigarettes than other people do, yet they live longer, and they only have half the heart and lung disease that anybody else has, or less than that actually. It's a third, I think, or something like that. So it's not the smoking as such, it's the chemicals in the cigarettes. And so keep away from them. They do have organic tobacco in the USA. I do know that because I try to keep abreast of what's going on. But anyway, smoking is cut it out if you can. If you can't, then go to organic tobacco and roll your own. With organic paper. Even the papers can have chemicals in them. Sedentary lifestyle. You have to, I'm sitting down now because it's much easier for me to do the video here. But I've been standing all day at my computer in my little office at the house here. And even in my office in the company, I stand. I haven't sit down for 20 years. It's all on standing, because when you're sitting down for more than 3 hours, you are becoming sicker. Because sitting down is you cannot breathe properly, your diaphragm's not working properly, and you need oxygen as the main source of life. So don't sit down for more than 3 hours. Lie down, stand or walk, but don't sit down. Now for ladies, oral contraceptives are actually can cause circulation problems and heart problems. So again, keep away from drugs. Depression. Now, depression is usually caused by the food, actually, but there are other causes of it, and it can be even in the winter. Some people can suffer from it. So you need to deal with depression, because depression is a cause of heart problems. Same as emotional stress. Now, that's stress that's high stress, as opposed to a low stress, which is depression. because it causes cortisol, and cortisol that's not dealt with. It's fine if you need to run a race or fight a fight, but not in normal life. I know there's a few stressful things in this life at the moment, more than I've ever seen in my 74 years. But anyway, you need to learn to deal with stress, let go of it. And if you're breathing from your diaphragm, you cannot be stressed. You cannot be angry. You cannot be anything. You cannot be fearful. Breathe from the diaphragm. And that's all in my book, How to Do It. If you drink alcohol, moderate it. Just enjoy it. A drink, maybe two, but that's it. Make them last. Don't drink more to drown your sorrows, or whatever they say, because you don't drown your sorrows, you drown your life. Who's most at risk from all those bad things I've just said? Women and men, Black and Asian ancestry. It's a fact of life. BAME, as the group is called, and they've got the highest risk of high blood pressure and heart disease, lung disease, whatever. Why? Because they've got an intolerance to carbs and sugar. They can consume carbs and sugar least of all than anybody. But also they've got a common lack of vitamin D3. Now, vitamin D3 is the miracle enzyme. It prevents COVID-19, it does everything. Breast cancer, other cancers, prostate cancer, you cannot be healthy without good high levels of D3. And I'm not talking about the 400 IUs that the government say, I'm talking about the 6,000 IUs per day that I take, and 10,000 if you're an at-risk person from disease. Men have got a higher risk of high blood pressure than women. It's because we're so stressed all the time. But women are more susceptible post-menopause. But I say that's because of the diet. Because post-menopause should be nothing. You should hardly notice it if your lifestyle is perfect. So be absolutely clear. Lack of pharmaceutical drugs is not the cause of high blood pressure or heart disease or cardiovascular disease or strokes. There is no need for pharmaceutical drugs to prevent all these things, and I don't believe they actually do very well. Because why is it still the biggest killer of people in the world, like I showed you right at the start? Well, it's still there. Well, why am I saying that? If drugs work, because people are being pumped full of drugs all over the world, they're not working. They say they are, but they're not. The other lifestyle factors are taking those drugs, which can actually cause heart disease and all the other diseases. And inactivity is also a factor. So we've got to walk and exercise to lower the heart rate, and it gets the circulation working and gets the oxygen into your heart, into your lungs, into everywhere in your body. I've got a personal example. My elder sister arrived on a visit. This is quite a while ago, but I'm going to repeat it. I took one look at her and I could tell, I can see when people are sick. And I knew she was facing urgent health problems. She was on, when we chatted, told me she was on strong, high blood pressure drugs. And because she had a high top blood pressure was, blood rate was 200. And blood pressure. And I knew I had to tread carefully because she's an older person than me. And I don't know whether you've ever tried to recommend some of my things to family, but they're the hardest to help. Anyway, I was pleasantly surprised when she agreed to change her diet, because she was staying with us anyway, but to specifically change the diet and take some supplements. And, she said, well, as long as she could monitor her blood pressure, and she trusted me to give her these things. So I gave her as well as the meals, which were obviously healthy because we only eat healthy there, but I was giving a green veggie smoothies because you cannot beat a green veggie smoothie of organic greens if you really want to heal somebody. I don't care whether it's cancer, heart disease, lung disease, anything. Green veggie smoothies, organic veggies. And we gave her the crucial supplements that I have below. And within 24 hours, the blood pressure was normal, well, healthy. I don't call it normal, actually. I call it healthy. My blood pressure is normal. My blood pressure is 116/70. That's, sorry, that's normal because that's healthy. But of course, other people are told all sorts of things by the doctor. Anyway, so 24 hours it took. Drinking water, sodium bicarbonate, green smoothies, and just normal small meals, not big meals, and the supplements. So that's the sort of thing I expect, because to have these problems, you're having to do things every minute of the day to cause the problems. And anyway, obviously she went on the plan, and she's still on the plan. And, oh, she would contact me and tell me if she doesn't live near to me. You know, it was a long trip she made to see us anyway. And it's really heartening because, you know, I've got 5 brothers and sisters, and I can promise you, you know, I wish they all were on the plan, but they're not. That's how the world goes. You know, I have helped hundreds of thousands of people around the world in the last 35 years, and, you know, my own family don't really take that much notice of it. But there again, a lot of people don't. You know, I'm sure if you talk to people, and I always say, don't go telling people, you know, tell people you know somebody that has got a solution for it and send them, but don't try to educate them, because they'll go, who are you to educate them? You know, my family is the same, you know, I'm just the elder brother there. So anyway, so you've got the blood pressure, I've got blood pressure books, I've got heart books, I've got stroke recovery books. The heart and the blood pressure, very similar, very slightly different. And if obviously, if you've got a heart problem, then follow the heart book. If you've got a blood pressure problem, follow the blood pressure. If you've had a stroke, then immediately get the stroke recovery book and get working on it. I've had stupidly great results with stroke recovery. I've had people, a guy in Washington State had a stroke. He was taken to hospital, they stabilized him, couldn't afford to stay in the hospital, so he discharged himself. His next door neighbor had a health point and some of our products, and he gave them to him, and he used the health point and some of the products. A week later, his paralysis was completely gone, and he was back at work. He couldn't afford to stay off work even, and it literally got him. But I had another when I was doing a talk in London, and on you know my plan, and a voice came from the back of this. This was a group of businessmen I was talking to. I was really just entertaining them, talking about it. And he said, is it possible I could give a testimonial? I said, well, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're going to say, but please tell me. He said, well, I'm a GP, a medical doctor from South Africa. And I had a stroke. I was completely paralyzed, and a year and a half later, I was still paralyzed. Physio, nothing worked at all. He said, I got your plan. And he said, I've worked on it for a year. He said, now I'm completely clear of it. So, you know, I would never have said to somebody, oh, after a year and a half, if you know, it's a tall order, but it just shows you if you're determined enough, whether it's a week or whether it's a year, you can, you know, recover from a stroke and the paralysis. See, what people are confused. The human body, its cells regenerate every minute, every second of the day, even the brain. Because do you remember doctors saying, oh, your brain cells can't regenerate? That's not true. It's known now, but because it's been said so long, doctors will still say, oh, your brain cells can't regenerate. Yes, they can. Stop the onslaught on them and get the right nutrients and get some oxygen, because oxygen is the source of all cell regeneration, oxygen and glucose. If you get those into your cells, wherever they are in the body, and you get the nutrients, because you need coenzyme Q10, because you've got oxygen and glucose, and you need a spark plug between the two, and that's called coenzyme Q10. And that fires and gives you energy and gives your cells energy to regenerate. But you've got to do it. You've got to do all the right things. It's just I don't know. How can I say it? It's so easy. I feel embarrassed saying it, but I feel annoyed at the medical doctors. Drugs, drugs, drugs. That's not health. That's disease care. That's drug care. It's like, if you're addicted to cocaine or what's the opiates anyway? The thing is, you have to stop taking them. I know you might be addicted, but you've got to stop taking them. I'm not saying you do, but all I'm saying is you just can't keep going to the drug pusher to make you feel better, because you don't. And you can't go to the doctor to make you feel better, because you don't. You've got to get healthy, get the sparkle of life. And the sparkle of life comes from oxygen, glucose, and coenzyme Q10. Of course, you need all the other nutrients. You need magnesium, you need selenium, you need iodine, or zinc. You need all these for various reasons around the body. But you've got to get the basic core of things going, which is oxygen and moving, and not blobbing, saying, I can't do it. I have people say, well, I can't walk very well. That's possible. Get on your back and exercise. Do some, bring your knees up and arms down and whatever. Get your heart beating. Boom, boom, boom. Is it difficult? Yeah. Is it worthwhile? Yeah. Anyway, so that's the thing. Manage your stress levels, avoid sugar, limit your processed foods, and don't ever use sodium salt. That's a white salt, the white fine salt. Get some Himalayan pink salt or something like that. Even rock salt, dirty rock salt, where it comes in big bags. That is real nutrition. That white stuff is toxic, because you should have a very, very carefully balanced sodium balance in your body. You need sodium, but it must be a careful balance, because all that processed food and junk has got lots of sodium in, because it becomes addictive. But what you really need is the pink salt or the brown rock salt, and get that down. You 2, 3, 4 teaspoons a day. You got to move daily. Increase your magnesium use. I can't say that enough, actually, because magnesium is the source of life. And here's the thing: if you were rushed to A&E and you were having a heart attack, so that's the emergency room, the doctors would actually give you intravenously magnesium and the penny cure. The penny cure is sodium bicarbonate, baking soda. They would give you that because that would actually and save your life. So if it can save your life so well, make sure you keep massaging your body with the magnesium oil. It's no use taking capsules. They don't work anywhere near as good as directly on the skin and putting it on there. And baking soda, in all my book, every single book says baking soda in all your glasses of water during the day. The penny cure. And it will save your life. If you were having a heart attack, have some sodium bicarbonate and rub some magnesium onto your chest and onto your back. It will absorb instantly. And it does absorb instantly. It's just amazing stuff. So don't ever think you don't need magnesium. Don't ever listen to anybody that says you don't need magnesium. It will save your life. And fats are good for you, by the way. I'll repeat that. Fats are good for you. Don't believe anybody that says they're not. For those that are on statins at the moment, we have an alternative now. It's called bergamot. And see, statins, may lower, but at a physical cost to your body because they're really bad for you. But bergamot is an extract from a fruit actually, and it will not only will it lower the bad cholesterol, but it will increase the good cholesterol, which statins don't do. And you want a proper balance of the two cholesterols. They're both good, but when you get one that goes up and one that goes down, that's bad. Whereas when you get them balanced, so it's called bergamot. We call it heart power. That's what it's called. And it really, really works, again, really, really fast. Last but not least, COVID-19 is a minor factor in the world, so do not worry about it. Worry about the world's gone crazy, worry about governments have gone crazy, worry about doctors have gone crazy, but don't worry about the COVID-19 itself. Anybody taking 6,000 IUs of vitamin D and a couple of thousand of milligrams of vitamin C a day, not a cat in hell's chance of them getting sick. And that's straight from Dr. Fauci, the evil Dr. Fauci. He's telling everybody about vaccinations or whatever, and he takes daily 6,000 IUs of vitamin D3 and 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. In my plan there's two parts to the plan. There's the essential, which is blockbuster, all clear, Serenol, vitamin D3 and K2. Now, why vitamin D3 and K2? K2 is critical, magnesium as well is critical for keeping calcium dissolved, but K2 is as well. And so if you've got blocked arteries, if you've got calcium spurs, all sorts of things, you need K2. So D3 and K2 together work fantastically. Heart power as well. Again, if you've got any risk of imbalance in your heart body there. Cholesterol. Active life. Well, I say everybody should have that anyway, but obviously if you've got a limit, then you've got a limit. But active life has got 130 different vitamins and minerals and nutrients. Nascent iodine is the iodine. I said, it's no longer in the soil. You can only get it in seafood and seaweed, or you can take it as nascent iodine. Coenzyme Q10, that's UB8Q10. We've got the 8 times better absorbed. Last but not least, I know it shouldn't be at the bottom, it should be at the top, but it's got to go somewhere, is the Ancient Magnesium Oil Ultra. You can prove it works fantastically, because if you had athlete's foot, fungus on your toenails and whatever, and you took some magnesium capsules, you would never get rid of that. 1 day, 2 days at the most with ancient magnesium on your foot, massage them into your foot and around your toes, boom, it'll be going, almost while you're watching it. That shows how good it is at absorbing. But if you have a sleep problem, just massage it into your shoulders and your neck, and you'll feel yourself relax and sleep better. If you've got a pain problem, in your arm or your leg or whatever, massage it in and watch it start to dissolve that pain. That's how good magnesium is. It's good stuff. Anyway, that's me for the day. What time is it? Well, of course I didn't start, so I was going to say I've been on 3/4 of an hour, but it's not it's not too bad. Anyway, see you next week. But I will record this properly with all my slides and put it up as well anyway in the week. Take care. Bye.